have a team, but that team doesn't really like to drill. That team just gets in there and fights. Um, in that situation, I just try to push people to try to make those fights be a little more realistic. So, like, let's say you have four people who get in armor and they just want to stand in a list or whatever and fight. If you can convince them to instead fight 2v2 with one person on each side on the list and the other person right at their shoulder, and then you just have your 2v2 fight like you did before, at least then you're essentially training the start of every round, right? So there's little things that you can do to make your training better. Um, and then the shittiest one is recruit. Try to make a practice that is better. Try to get more people so that you can train more often. But it's difficult. It's very difficult.
Yeah. So no good answer. It sucks. Move to Texas. Move to
Move to
Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
It's a solid way to go.
So apparently the stream died, so I don't know if they got all of that. But, you know, hopefully you got some of it. Judo, get someone who's better than you to work with you. Build a team.
Judo
practice.
training camps. Go to training camps.
Training camps. Pick up the best alternative sport. And move to Texas. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Mikey says that you should do the Danish move that you're stealing. I don't know what that is.
I can do that. So just a slightly modified sort of head rip. But it's interesting. It comes from a different angle. Seems to work really well. So.
All right. Where are you sending me? Have you sent me anything yet? And I'm just like not capable of finding it, or
No.
Okay.
No, I was waiting for you to.
Yeah, I mean my stream is.
That's a lie. I just haven't found it yet.
Okay. Mikey, you'll find the thing that you said, and then you send it to us.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. Except for he hasn't watched them, so he probably.
No, that's his answer.
I guess I can send this. I was looking for the one. There's one where it happens back to back, but I'll just send you this. This is just a perfect thing. So, should I send it to you on Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook would be better.
All right. There you go. So this is the hump and bump. This is my version of the hump and bump. I have been using it a lot. It's quickly becoming one of my favorite takedowns. I'm on near side.
Near side.
Right side. Right there.
This guy?
Yep.
Alright, cool. Let's go back. That was hard to follow. Half speed? Half speed sounds good.
Yeah, so the main goal of this is I want to get my hips off to the side of them. This is why it's often really good in 2v2s, but if someone's willing to sit back a little bit like that, it works really well in 1v1s because now I'm just going to turn, press into the rail.
So were you looking for it from like right here on engagement, or is it when he rotates back right
So
here?
I was considering right there, but he kind of stiffed and did this. Now once he sits, I know I have it.
Okay. So you said you get your hips offline, and then it's just a rail. You're just doing a Soto into the rail, right?
Basically. So that first step, I'm trying to drive them into the rail, and then I turn all the way through to finish.
Are you driving your hips into them, or is it all just rotating with your shoulder?
So yes, I'm driving in a little bit, and I kind of drive the side of my leg into them a little bit while I'm turning too. But most of it is I'm tucking them close. It kind of, when you look at the minor stuff, it depends on what I have to do to finish it in that given situation. Um, Sometimes I have to press hip in harder. Sometimes I don't need to do it as much. Like, uh, why don't I pull up? I definitely have. I'll show you what it looks like when I have to fight for it hard.
All right.
Um,
Jake sent some ones that he thinks we should go over. I don't know what round this is. Do you
oh,
know?
this is against the beasts. If you jump to us versus, go right about where your mouse is right now.
Here?
Yeah, about. Oh,
No.
I was looking at my mouse.
Okay.
That was my mouse on your screen. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
go a little forward from there.
Why don't you just tell me when I'm
Go
close?
go forward from where you're at right now. It's the very next fight we're in.
Oh, like here, ish.
Yes, is kind of what it looks. It's probably that one right there. Yes, it's. I think you're at it.
Oh, so just play from here. I went back too far. Whatever. Play from here.
Maybe went back too far, but who cares? It's in this fight. It's in this fight. So this is kind of what it looks like when I have to really fight for it. So it'll
All right, where are
show
you?
hopefully a little bit more. I'm the two on the
Two on
left
the
side,
far. Yeah.
far side. Um, it'll probably happen in like 20 seconds. I know I wrote to the other side of him before. So I don't want to go there just because the axe guy was there. Now that the axe guy's moving, I can actually start working it. Um, the guy was doing a good job of stiff arming me to not let me get close. That first thing is me just trying to bump his arm up to see if I can close, but I couldn't get past his elbow.
Is this a
So,
bait right here? You look like you're just turning your back on him. Is
yes,
that okay?
yes, a little bit. So he's the reason I couldn't get that. The reason that I have to that I bump his elbow up and move is because he's hard stiff arming, trying to stay away from me. Uh, so I got a little tighter, attempted the Asoto. Then when I left, I dropped my guard and ignored him, hoping that he would close distance because he didn't want to.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
right. So now I go back. I'm actually going to push him down the rail because I don't want that rail post in my way.
Oh yeah, because then he could catch on it while you try to rotate
Yep.
him.
And so right about now is where I'm looking for it.
So I thought you had to have them flat to the rail to do it, but he is not
If
flat at all.
if I can drive them flat, I can. Now I have to really fight for this one because he's not as flat as I'd like to be. If he was flatter, this would be much easier. And you'll see me actually, I'm gonna take my right hand and reach underneath the list. That's me grabbing underneath the list to pull my body in a little tighter so that I can finish.
Okay, yeah. Go back and do that in slow mo again.
So
So it looks like are you stepping as deep as possible when you try to get in there, or is that just this particular time? You look, cause it looked like you lunged almost like through him.
so a little bit. I want to get deep enough that my left foot can come back towards the camera a significant way. The farther I can get my left foot towards the camera when my toe hits the ground, the better. And so I need to get enough past his leg that I can reach back, if that makes sense.
No, but I feel like I would have to see it demonstrated. So hopefully the people watching understand though.
Right. So from here, I just need to drive his head up. And he needs to hopefully force my head backwards. That's kind of the game right now, or he needs to get his hips out. So he tries to get his leg free right there. And then I'm going to drive my leg across. My thigh pushes across to trap his knee so he can't get it back.
So when you felt the pressure come out, you just followed it and then
Yes,
trapped it.
I'll drive my thigh across to hopefully trap that knee from actually being able to return.
All right. Jake also gave an Iron Wolves timestamp to for stealing the Danish stuff. So I'm gonna try to find that.
perfect.
He's, you should definitely stream with him. I should have got him on instead of
I
you.
know, right?
I've got the wrong guy. But yeah, you've definitely picked a partner who's more prepared than either of us. So that'll be good.
He's like a project manager for a living.
Ah, one of those fake jobs. I'm trying to get one of those fake jobs. Is this it?
Do you know anything about waterfall or?
Yeah, it's don't do it.
Okay.
Uh, Jake, is this it? I keep saying Jake. I assume you are Jake. You haven't confirmed. So if I'm talking to someone else, this will be real funny.
What's his name?
The guy who's going to stream. So I assume
Oh, I gotcha.
that guy who's going. Is this the. Do you recognize these teams? Is this.
The far one is Iron Wolves.
Okay.
So,
So this has got to be it right then.
yep. So, Iron Wolves, you might know the names Frederick and Matthias Sorsberg, the Danish twins.
Yeah.
So this is their team. Matthias is the center. Frederick's on the left.
Their left or our left?
Their left, our right.
Ugh. He's using a two-handed fucking falchion? Wait, or the guys down here. The guys across from us? The black.
So the guy on the rail in the center are
The guy in
Matthias
the rail. Okay.
Frederick. Yeah.
No, I feel better. Well, you know.
Is this the timestamp he sent you? I don't feel like they do it in this round.
Well, it was the timestamp he sent.
I guess we're gonna find out right here. Maybe he's got that wraparound.
He may have just sent me all of their.
Okay, all right, that is kind of it. But so I think I saw Matthias do this one specifically, but he gets into that same position. So if you go back to like where it starts, so he gets into basically
Right here.
this position right here, and maybe extend a little bit, and I'll say pause. Go pause. All right, so he goes right here, and the way he gets the head rip that I've been starting to teach my guys, and it feels amazing, is so he's got left arm around. Now, normally with like a standard head rip, you're trying to like connect your hands on the other side of their head so that you can basically break their hips in and their head backwards, right? But for me, because I'm not super tall and I'm sure you deal with this issue, it is sometimes hard to connect your hands for a head rip, especially if someone leans away from you like at all, right? So you can get one hand there, but like getting two hands is problematic, and you might even expose yourself to attack trying to do it. So what they were doing is that hand goes there. The near hand was pressing almost like knuckles onto the side of the face. And then when he broke the side, he was pulling and turning the face up, but like back around towards the rail.
Yeah.
So that he's twisting the head through for the takedown, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And playing with it, it's actually super effective, and it's a much easier grip to
So
get.
it's more like a crossface than a fucking straight pullback.
Yes, very cross-facey.
Okay.
And like the way Daniel teaches head rip is after you get the initial pull, he always teaches turn their face into the rail anyway, because it's harder to recover if you're turning that way than the other way. So this kind of like just goes hard into that idea. So once that break happens, you're twisting that head like a crossface. I think that's a perfect example where you break back and you crossface them hard, circling them through the rail and taking them down the other way.
All right. Cool. I like that.
Really effective.
Montana Coped, which is better, two-handed falchion, two-handed axe. Two-handed axe, especially in Buhurt League, because you can grab almost the entire thing. But a falchion, you can't grab the blade at all. So
Yeah,
that limits its grappling abilities.
Right. In the two-handed axe deals damage better.
Yeah.
You can swing it from more areas. You can move it around. There's just you know.
The only reason I could think to go with a two-handed sword type thing would be if you wanted to land more blows, but I don't know why you would want to land more in a melee, right? Like if you could move a blade quicker than an axe, but if it moves quicker, that doesn't necessarily mean it hits harder. And
Yeah,
it doesn't.
there's like
So just tapping people doesn't do anything in melee.
I think there's like one guy who's quote unquote made two-handed sword work well, and even him, he's kind of older school, but there was a person on, I think he was Old Friends for a while, that used an like a great sword, like a
Yeah,
long sword, only
yeah,
a giant
like a
one.
bigger one. Yeah,
And Max Yoon put out a video interviewing him where he talked about how he used it, and there was some really interesting stuff that I didn't really think about. Like he likes to, he thinks it's way better at breaking shields and breaking halves because, like at higher end, you know that if someone swings a halberd for you full force, you can't block the blade because the blade will fuck your shield up. You have to like press into the haft instead so that it's not breaking your shield. And he liked the fact that there is no haft, so like metal is going to hit onto wood regardless, and it's very easy to break equipment. And then he also felt it was way easier to guard your partner or your like teammate. So like if you're standing back and there's someone like a halberder swinging in, it's much easier to put the great sword in the way because the counterbalance is much better. So you're not like reaching out with a super heavy weight on the end of a stick trying to block.
right.
So it was a little bit easier to ward from a distance. He had some other interesting things to think about, but I don't think that those actually make up for the fact that uh, the other is just way better. And especially Buhurt League, because you can plant the axe and use it as a support, which I hope INCF eventually allows because, like, it's such a cool part of the game. I don't think it's cheesy in any way. It very rarely comes into play, but when it does, it's generally like someone's actively using a thing in a unique way to get a takedown.
Yeah, I mean, it can keep you up a slightly longer in a slow grind, but whatever. By implementing the tabletop, they're already acknowledging that they're okay with a bit more slow grind than what they were aiming for because they failed at what they were already aiming for. So
Oh,
like,
okay. Okay. I guess.
yeah, not what then what happened, then what they were
I
trying
don't.
for.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
they had a goal, they didn't achieve it, and so they went with something else.
Yeah.
And so why take this other piece away that does give you some really cool highlight stuff and doesn't slow the grind down? It's a grindy takedown down much, right? Like it gives you a little bit more support, but that's about it.
So I'm sure it exists. I'm sure it exists. I'd be interested in finding a video where someone is legit keeping themselves up for anything more than like catching their balance in a stumble with a two-handed axe aft. Like I'm sure they exist,
Yeah, I mean
but
it's more you have your rail, you have your axe plant, and then and people on you, and that's going to give you a little bit, but you're probably going down. And it's not going to keep you up much longer.
yeah, but what you're describing right now is that you have no hands on me, which means I'm definitely just winning, and I'm probably going to win way faster than if you were to put your hands on me and defend yourself.
Maybe I mean I assume it
Like
when you're already in that position, you can't put hands on you in an effective way.
I guess if we're like,
I'm talking specifically.
you're about to go down,
right,
you're planting that shit to stall for a second
right.
or two.
And specifically,
I guess
this is the grind takedown where you've bent the guy over, and basically you're at the point where you are pushing him down. And if you're smart, you're looking for the point where you can kick his foot or turn his hips. And if you're not, you're just pushing on him, right? Like that's the.
Sure, I think that's reasonable.
But it adds a minor amount to that one very specific grindy situation.
And on the flip side, it allows you to be way more aggressive and get quicker takedowns open field because you can use it to plant to set harder throws. So like I think that it is just really cool.
Also, someone's going to use it to do a pole vault drop kick at some point, and it will be dope even though nothing will happen with it.
Yeah,
it will
some Monkey King stuff.
Yeah, someone's going to do something really dumb, but it will look really cool.
Yeah. So anyway, really long explanation. Don't use a two-handed falchion unless you just love it. I always tell people dude, I'm real big If you love it,
Don't have fun in
you
the
can
sport.
make it work.
Don't
You
have
can
fun
make
in
it
the
work.
sport.
You're hamstringing yourself though a little bit. Like you're making it rough on you.
Yeah. Yeah, don't have fun. Don't
But
do.
honestly, you're making it rough by picking up a two-handed axe anyway. Shielding
Yeah,
one-hander.
at least the two-handed axe though has like a place in the meta. Like the falchion just in the current meta is just a shitty two-handed axe.
I agree. I would. That's a perfect description of it.
Especially in Buhurt League, where, like you said, the planting, and then you can't grab it, so it's a worse grapple stick, right? Like,
Yeah, that's fair. Because I guess in IMCF you can still grab it, but your opponent can't grab it. So
yeah,
like
with
you
and
get
that
some benefit.
right, that gives you a little bit better. It's harder to disarm. Um, I still think the two-handed axe is better there, but
Yeah,
like,
they're also heavier than a two-handed axe and hit softer.
yeah.
So there's not a lot of benefit to them.
Um, anyway, I got some more timestamps. We could try a finishing. Maybe it's the next round has.
I don't know. I
One
know
minute.
that uh,
You know,
Matthias does one specifically that I really liked. I'll see, and he's not in this
I don't
round.
think
In fact,
either
no
of
one's in
them
this round.
are in
So
that. Yeah, so let's see. Swiss 329 38. I don't know what this is about. Oh, I didn't go far enough. Oh, it's still Iron Wolves.
he is theoretically editing our video on the Iron Wolves right now. So he probably knows where we talked about it.
Oh, why didn't he just send the edit?
What the heck?
I'll clip it in real quick. Do you know if it happens
How do you
in this round?
feel about targeted suicides?
I hate them, but but they are
I don't
valid.
think it happened against these guys. He's okay. I like it.
I hate them.
We've had a long discussion about it. Yeah.
It's the thing where
Why do you hate him?
because if it goes wrong, you fucked your team, and like it's the same reason I don't ever want a fighter to call quit. Like I want the coach to be the one who throws in the towel. I never want a fighter to take a knee because I don't want you to ever have that thought of I will go down because it's a shitty thought to have and it makes it so much easier to take that choice at some other point. At some other point you might go, oh well this is the time, and if it's not the time, you fucked it up. But the thing is, it occasionally is the time. They're like,
So what if a guy, because you said the thing that you don't like about it is you fuck your team if it goes wrong. What if I got a guy that's like 100% success rate, 99% success rate?
on targeting suicides.
Yep, targeted suicide. I say go get that dude. He's gonna fall over. That dude's gonna fall over with him.
In that specific situation, I'd probably say it's all right.
I was just curious.
I mean,
I wanted to know if that was actually your reasoning. So I was giving you a situation where that reason would be. Because for me, a lot of times it's like the annoyance of like you're not playing the game right.
oh yeah,
Like
no,
regardless of if it should be allowed or not. I'm like part of this game is I'm trying to beat you and you're trying to beat me. And the
right.
second you're like, nah, I ain't trying to beat you. I'm just trying to make sure you go down with me. It's
I,
like we're not
oh,
playing the same game
it's
or something, right? It's silly,
cheesy as
right?
fuck,
It's cheesy, yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
hate it. But also, I will do anything within the bounds of the rules to win that I do not think will injure my opponent, and I'll do a bunch of things within the bounds of the rules that I do think will.
Okay, I was about to say like I will
Nope.
take out the.
That's
I don't
just
think
like
it's going to injure my
I am still
opponent.
not sure I'm okay hitting hands. I'm
Oh.
starting to hit hands occasionally, but for the most part, like I just don't like. I really like don't feel good about it, and so like
People should buy good gauntlets.
they should. I just this is a personal thing. I'm not saying we should make a rule about it because it'd be a shitty rule. It'd be unenforceable.
Yeah.
I don't think other people shouldn't do it unless they're on my team, and then I'd like please be moral. But if you don't want to, I also like winning, so you know.
That's fair. There's certain situations where I do it, like, and there's certain situations I do it where I start soft on purpose and then go a little harder each time. So, like, if someone's in a grapple and they have a two-handed axe and I want to remove the two-handed axe, sometimes I'll grab it and pull it out, which extends their hand, and I'll hit them in the hand. But the first one's not too hard,
Yeah.
then it's a little harder. And if by 3 you're still holding on, I'll actually hit you in the hand.
I
Uh,
yeah, I like that. like the warning system, I think is
Yeah,
probably fair. And to be fair, I don't have it. I don't think I have that with anything else. Like I think side of the neck should be legal, and I would hit someone as hard as I can right there. I think
it
back of the
is
neck
legal.
should be
It
legal.
is legal.
I think it's
I don't know if it's legal
no. I
in
don't. So,
IMCF. It's legal in H&B, I believe. I
yeah,
believe it's only back of the neck.
and throat.
No, throat's legal.
Throat's legal.
Yeah.
Oh, throat. I don't know that throat should be legal. I think back of the neck should be legal. That I think is wild that it's not. But
Nah, I'm down for back of the neck illegal.
all right.
But
And that's one where I think, fucking wear a gorget, have good fucking protection there. It's just,
but I don't want to wear a gorget.
yeah,
Have you considered that?
I don't either. But like, I also don't want stupid calls where a dude swung at the back of the head and then you say it's neck. Or like someone swings and someone ducks into it and you hit someone. Like, rules like that.
I agree with that.
Like, if you're going to say the back of the neck is illegal, then we can make hands illegal. Right? If you're going to make targets that are really easy to hit and hard to avoid.
Nah, because the point of it isn't the point of making back of the neck illegal has nothing to do with its like ease of hit. It has to do with how serious the injury can be if it goes wrong.
Sure, but I guess it is a much more serious injury than breaking the
hands. Like they literally banned the shot that is most likely to make you a quadriplegic, and no other shot has been banned except for like back of the knee.
Yeah,
groin.
Which I'm also not sure. I don't know. I guess it's really hard to fucking armor the back of the knee, but
yeah,
I don't know. At least I think back of the knee should be legal in pro fights. Like I think that's
because if you get there, you deserve it or something.
More like because it's not gonna be open up for it the same way it is in fucking melee. And if fucking MMA dudes have knees just legal, I feel like we're not doing that much more damage. I don't know.
Yeah, like, reasonable.
If you want to get a bigger wing, if you get big wings, you're probably not gonna get hit there.
I mean, I almost think it's reasonable in pro fights because I don't think it'll ever happen in pro fights.
Yeah.
If I actually thought it would happen, I'd probably be like, no, we shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it because I don't think it'll change the game at all.
Yeah. Chris says, what about front kicks to the knees in pro fights? Yeah, I think front kicks to the knees should be fine in pro fights. They're fine in MMA. Why shouldn't they be fine in our sport?
Well, they're trying to remove them in MMA. Lots of people don't like it.
Yeah. When they remove it, then I'll say we should remove it. But until then.
So the problem with them is that the damage they deal isn't. It's damage that doesn't really stop a fight most of the time.
Yeah.
But it is what's the word I'm looking
injury?
for? Yes, yeah. It causes long-term issues that linger, and it is disproportionate to sort of the damage that would be dealt by other things.
If people wear articulated knees, and they get front kicked, do you still think that would happen? Because that's my argument, is if you want your knee to be safe, wear articulated knees.
So that certainly helps. You would have to have like articulated knees designed to lock at straight, which obviously theoretically they're supposed to. Many of them
you would have to have good articulated knees. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, correct. I've worn Andre stuff, but I digress.
Have you actually worn Andre stuff?
Yeah, I got my rib dislocated in his brig.
Oh, was it the brig that like had the gap down the back?
So yes, but I did a fix, not a gap down the back. I guess it had a gap down the back too, but a gap across the back.
It had multiple gaps. It had, but like the entire spine is just open, right? Like,
not the top third. The top third is covered.
Oh, okay.
The bottom 2/3
are just like
open game, free game.
Admittedly, they're not open in a way that you would normally get hit, but like I still feel like it should be not open at all.
Oh yeah. No. The reason the gap across always hated is I was like, at least the other gap is an illegal shot.
Yeah.
The gap across is just completely legal, and I'm pretty sure will paralyze me.
Yeah.
But I've also, when we're talking about illegal shots, I've never understood the down the spine. Same. I'm like, I would much rather you hit me up and down on the spine than across.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just It's not like I have done any tests on that. It just feels like across my spine, way more likely to damage it than up and down.
I wonder if there might be something vertical if you're hitting up at the neck that it's bad. Because I did see a dude basically like get paralyzed on a shot like that for like a
Oh,
half a day. Um, but like also that could have just been a freak accident, and it was a half a day, and
like I guess if it's perfectly up and down,
yeah,
then there's
it's
no muscle
yeah.
soaking some of the shot.
It's a dumb rule, and it's especially a dumb rule because refs very rarely call it.
Yes.
And any rule that doesn't get called is a bad rule.
It's also very rare that you can swing 12 to 6 up and down the spine because it's kind of a weird angle to hit spine. Like the
I
person's got to be bent over and you have to be directly behind them.
yeah, they don't have to be bent over much though,
Fair.
and like
I guess just leaned forward.
especially in the lower to lower the like not quite bottom tier but like low to mid tier. I've seen it a lot. Maybe not a lot, as in like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
hundred times, but more than a dozen, which is pretty
All right.
frequent, I guess.
I think I've probably seen it 3 times.
I only know because I saw the dude get fucking paralyzed, and since then I've been like, oh shit, I gotta watch for that.
Yeah.
Um, but again, I think that was more of a freak accident because no one else has been the least bit bothered by it. Jake also said he was going back and forth in the shed. He gave rough times, and he hates you for stealing his discussion points. So, you may not have a streaming partner anymore.
Shit.
All right. Do we think? No, they're not. Yeah, are they in this round? The brothers.
Yes, Matthias is one. Uh,
Okay.
this was, if you want to see Colin putting in the Lord's work. So this team actually beat the Beasts, which
What?
was, yeah, yeah. So they took fourth in the tournament. So they also put out the Warlords.
What does he do? Oh, the guy just fucks up the Asota. That's what it was.
Yes, yeah, but that's
I'm trying to figure out what he did. Is this the thing? Is he gonna do the thing? No.
no, because he's fighting Colin right now.
Ah!
Colin wins that. Uh,
Surprise.
but he's gonna so in the corner, I know right here, he's gonna get another counter, and he does something similar to what I'm talking about, but again, he's gonna do it off of an Asoto, like he did for that first takedown that you saw.
Yeah.
Um,
What the fuck?
but that's kind of it. In that when he turns, he's trying to pull that head around.
Yeah, ripping the
But
head
it,
around. Can you
yeah, but
grab? You can't grab the edge of the helmet, but you can grab the aventail of the pelerine in Buhurt League, right?
you cannot. They
You
went.
can't.
They clarified that that was not allowed, which I'm glad because
Face. What about the face? Can like
your hand can be open. If you can close your hand around it, it's illegal. But like,
about any piece of their armor?
no, no, on their helmet.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
said face.
So
Like
yeah,
if I
yeah, yeah,
if,
yeah. Sorry. So like
like I
I
think
couldn't grab like the bars on like a wolf rib. Like I couldn't like get in there and grab it. Uh oh.
oh a wolf rib or like slide my fingers under the edge of it.
I lost you again.
Um,
My
God
internet's
damn it.
not doing great. Oh, maybe. Yeah.
You're
maybe
coming
back.
through great.
All right. But yeah, so you can't really grab, but you can open palm the face.
Yes.
Okay.
But reason I like that the fist specifically is that it's a really good way to like pinch trap the head to do it. And what's interesting is a long time ago, Daniel Krug actually told me that he was starting to play with uh, going knuckles in with one hand when he was reaching across for a specific type of head rip. Um, but like I messed with it a little bit and never really got it, but it was because I was still trying to do it more like a straight head rip rather than using those two sides of the head to spin your head around and make you look another direction. And adding that aspect made a huge difference, um, which makes sense because there's also a Muay Thai sweep that you try to focus on turning that head around, and it's a Muay Thai sweep that I could never get until I watched a tip that was like, really get the other side of their head so that you turn their face when you go for it. I have no idea what the sweep's called, but it's that outside bump, basically like what he just did.
Yeah. It's probably called an outside bump or something.
Probably.
Yeah. All right. Maybe. Does Colin survive this?
Yes. No. Kind of. Yeah. There we go.
Was that the targeted suicide you were talking about?
No. No, we just actually had a conversation about it last night when he said something. I asked you to annoy him. Calls up. I think he eventually gets Simoed when he's in another 2v1, but I think this is Sam Ride on the near side for people who know him. He's definitely a bigger name. They do a good job of trapping him and not giving him much. So Sam's another one of those runners that I think is he's very solid, but I think he's just a few techniques shy of being like true high level. And it's just because right now he seems a little too easy to shut down because he doesn't have good answers. What he does, he's got some stuff he does extremely well. If you can stop that, he doesn't have a good next thing that he goes to.
Right.
And I think once he develops that, like, what do I do when I don't get what I want? He'll unquestionably want to be one of the top threats in Australia. He probably already is one of the top threats in Australia, but
right. I mean, like, if he came over here, what level do you put him at? Do you put him at that Dominus level at Warlords B, or I mean the Warlords Plus, whatever the Warlords team you guys sent, or the
I'd like to see how he would match up. I would put him around your level.
Yeah, that doesn't answer it though. I don't know if I'm the Warlords Plus or the War Pigs.
I think you're Warlords Plus.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Depends on how good day you're having.
It's a great point.
When shit's going right for you, Warlords Plus.
Yeah.
So, but have you been training a lot recently? Like, are you? Because I know you weren't training much for quite a while, and then you went to another country that you didn't train in. But
so I stopped.
Have you been able to do it?
I basically stopped training. Went to South America. Kind of tried to stay fit, but didn't. Came back, got on my fitness stuff a bit, and went to. Been going to the MMA gyms a lot, but. But not getting much specific training. So and not as much as I want. Like I'm getting some weeks I get like a good 10 to 15 hours, but some weeks I get like 3. So it's not consistent. And it's it's mostly BJJ when I do go to the MMA. So like,
trash.
I
love BJJ. It's just not.
We do a decent amount of stand up for a BJJ gym, but like it's still not like a lot
still
of
BJJ.
stand up. Yeah, it's still BJJ, and
I try to do BJJ once a week. I love BJJ.
Yeah,
it's
fun.
certainly more something I do for me than I do for transfer.
I mostly do it because it's a way that I can stay fighting, than like and like be active. You know, because I know I will at any point if I'm free and there's a BJJ class, I would be willing to go to the gym, and I'm
Oh
not,
yeah.
and I'm not always willing to like go lift weights or to go hit the pal or even go to like, you know, even if the hall were closer, I'm not always wanting to go to spar or fucking go to judo. Like,
Yeah.
those just aren't fun for me. Like, that's work that gets me to do the thing I like doing.
Fair.
BJJ, yeah, I'll go to class any day of the week. It's just fun. It's pure fun, which is weird because I don't really think I ever want to compete in it. I just
Interesting. Interesting.
when it gets hard when people treat it like wrestling, it stops being fun. I think that's what I figured out, that what I like about it is because you can be softer with it and really play.
Yeah.
Like, I like that play space a lot, and like I love wrestling as a sport, but like it's not a play space. You can't just like accept, like I can accept bottom position, like bottom half, and then like
Yes.
just work and play with it. You can't accept being bottom in wrestling.
Right. Right. Uh,
Yeah.
that's just called losing
Yeah.
in wrestling, right?
And yeah, and in our sport too, like you can't really give someone an advantage. I mean, you can if you're like really baiting it, but like not like just like be put in a bad position and then oh, how do I work out of this?
Yeah, along those lines, it's the reason that I have grown to like really love flow grappling and like flow kickboxing. Amazing, love it. Like, can we lower the intensity enough that we can be playful with it, and then like let's do it for the next 2 hours. Like I just love that stuff because uh, obviously I think for most combat athletes, sparring is generally one of the most fun parts about it, right? Like a lot of the drilling generally is like, okay, I'm learning stuff.
Yeah.
Now let's get to the fun part.
Right.
And I think doing flow stuff just allows you to play with so many more things, like get so many more rounds in and have a lot more fun in sparring.
Yeah.
But it took me a long time to get there. I did not like it at first. I didn't understand it at first.
Yeah, for me the first time it ever clicked was I was at an SCA practice where a guy who was not very good at SCA pulled me aside because I was running sword and buckler and went, hey, let's slow it down and run some sword and buckler drills. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy telling me stuff? And the fact that when we slowed down to 50% speed, I couldn't block him at all, it was the first time I went, oh. And like, as a dude who doesn't think, that was the first time I was like, okay, how do you think in combat? And like,
Right.
what was really weird, when I started doing BJJ, someone told me like that would help. It would help my mind. I forget who it was. So I was like, no, it won't. And 3 years in, it hadn't. And then like just this year, I'm starting to be like, oh no, I really am thinking more during fights. Like there are flashes of like, oh, I need to, there's an Minnesota there, right? Like
Nice. That's really cool.
yeah, and like I think it is all. It might not be, but I think it's because I do so much in BJJ of like, what do I do from here? What is open? And a lot of it is because it's flow.
Yeah. No, BJJ it's great for analysis. It's also like, I think that the number one best thing that it teaches you as far as transfer to steel is just like acceptance of being miserable. Like, hey, sometimes you're not going to be able to breathe and you're going to be so tired that you're pretty sure you're going to die if this person lays on you for another 12 seconds. But it turns out you're not. So just calm down and deal with it. And like, it reminds me so much of like early days in armor where you like have these moments of like, oh, I think I need to stop doing this or I'm going to die. And you're like, it turns out, no, you're not. Like, that's not how it generally works. Uh,
Yeah.
you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
You just got to learn to calm down and accept that sometimes this shit sucks.
Yeah, I mean, also like this is maybe I don't know if you had to learn this lesson, but as a small guy, it was a huge thing of just accepting, like, not panicking in a bad position of like I have to get out of this just because like hey,
Huge,
like
huge.
this is you're stuck here until opportunity opens up, and if you can find it, find it. But if you can't find it, you thrashing around isn't gonna help. Like only move if you like see a good movement, and like go if someone is pulling you and throwing you, go with it because you're probably not gonna stop it if you're like small. Like just be okay not being
So
in
I
control of your body and being in shitty situations. Just
Right.
be
I
okay.
think that that second one that you said is slightly more small guy specific. That first one is, I think, just like a life lesson everyone should learn.
Yeah.
And one of the ways I describe it is like, so when you get in a bad position, that a lot of times what it means is you're at a higher likelihood of going down or higher likelihood of getting dropped or whatever. But just because you're in a losing position doesn't mean you've lost. And and they still have to do something
Yeah.
to get to the part where you lose,
Yeah.
which means if you can just be calm and wait it out, more often than not they will open up an escape route in attempting to figure out how to take you down.
100%.
If you panic and try to resist while they're just sitting there grabbing you, well, then you're going to do some dumb stuff with your weight. They're going to have full grips on you and they'll take you wherever you went and you're down. Like, make them prove that they can put you down. Like, okay, you got me down here. Now, what do you? Um, and for me, the thing that taught me that the most, other than just like lots of practice, Brennan used to just like go for heavy head control, like full sort of like Muay Thai plum, try to get his chest on top of you as just like his go to. That's what he did every single time we grappled, no matter what. Um, and this was a long time ago, right? He was not a good grappler, but he was strong. He's a big, strong dude. So he's just going to try to grab your head, pull it down. So I would just start rounds and walk straight in with my head essentially down and hand it to him. Uh, and then I'd be like, all right, I'm just going to fight from down here always. And we're going to see how it goes. And it turns out wasn't that big a deal for me to have my head down there. Like, I still had lots of attacks open to me, could defend him really well, and like was a huge life lesson. And to this day, a lot of my takedowns come off of countering people who go for head control and start cranking down on me because that's a lot of energy you can use. And a lot of times people won't give you that much energy unless they think that they're winning.
Yeah.
So if I can give you something that makes you feel like you're winning, there's a very good chance that you'll put a lot more energy into trying to do something with me, which makes it a lot easier for me to get a takedown.
100%. Minus the I don't have the baby bit down. But all right. Internet still keeps cutting out, but hopefully this round will have that thing. And if it does, let's go over that, and then I'm gonna call it. And if it doesn't, I'm still gonna call it because I'm also
I think that's perfect.
apparently keeping my girlfriend up and she's trying to sleep because I can't do this and not yell.
Reasonable. Reasonable.
Yeah.
So he's the top guy. He's going to get a takedown right here that isn't it, and then we'll see what happens. I don't actually remember.
See what that is. Is it anything cool? No. Kind of cool.
No.
Is this it? He's got the position.
We'll see. We'll see. No, he throws it forward, then his brother's going to throw forward. Uh,
Maybe here.
no, because they both throw forward here, and it drives me crazy because I don't actually think it's a good takedown, but they do it twice in a row. Uh,
They do what? They throw forward?
yeah, so like All right, I watched him do this like 3 or 4 times this event, and it annoys me because one of the things that I'll say about like if a takedown's actually good is it repeatable? And I'm pretty sure this takedown's not good, and they definitely repeated it a bunch of times. There's nothing blocking the leg taking them forward, and they're not breaking them in a way like if you go back to the 2 takedowns, they're not breaking them over in a way that I don't feel like a good fighter couldn't keep their legs with them.
This right here.
Yes. So in a second, he's going to go forward.
Yeah.
That's, I don't feel like a good fighter should go down to that, but it's always hard. Their hands aren't on me. Like I could be missing something that they're doing. Uh, but they had a decent amount of success with that throw. I think they hit that 3 or 4 different times, and every time they hit it, I'm like, I don't, I
I
don't feel like it
think
should work.
part of that might be like the timing of having two people putting the torque on you. But
So
like,
if you go to the other person who's on the ground there, they did it to him too, and I think it's a one-on-one when that one goes.
which one?
Uh, go, not this guy. The next dude who falls down, the guy who just threw that guy is going to throw the next one too.
Yeah.
So wait for it to. So I think that guy's going to get free. Maybe it is still kind of a 2v1, and I just don't remember.
No, it's
There.
not.
Uh, anyway, I hate that takedown, but
Yeah.
it works. So it,
Yeah, I agree. A good fighter shouldn't go down to that. But like, again, I'm not top level, but I've definitely gone down to stuff that I shouldn't go down to. You know,
no doubt.
because
No
like,
doubt.
you just found yourself in a bad position, and then like, oh, I was not, like I fucking Daniel pushed me over a body at Carnage. Just like I threw a dude down and then didn't
Yeah.
go to rail. I didn't do any of the basics of like let me get stable.
Yeah,
and
that's
like
rough.
touch. Look, it wasn't even a check, just a touch.
Yeah, especially like, man, those are the worst when you know the guy was there too, and you're like, well, that was really stupid.
Yeah. Yep. But like, for me, it's just are they in this round?
Nope.
All right. Cool. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it that.
All right.
Yeah. Well, we kind of went over some stuff.
I basically talked through how it goes. I'll see if I can find it at some point, and I'll
Yeah.
send it to you, or we'll throw it up, or whatever. I don't know.
But
But
why don't you guys do that on your stream?
oh, that's
Since you're
genius. That's genius. That way we can make sure that our stream's just a little bit better than your stream.
It will not be hard.
I'll just talk about the clips and fail to find them over here.
Yeah. Just
Put 'em up
do,
on the other side.
do the shitty practice with me, and then you and Jake can do it. That sounds actually right. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Uh,
But anyway, this was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No,
Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. This was good. I think we covered some good stuff, and not much of what we talked about covering, but still a lot of
I feel
good
like
stuff.
we covered everything we talked about.
I mean, technically, we didn't go. in
What
depth.
place did people get?
Yeah,
We covered that one quick.
I thought we were going to go a little bit more in depth with some stuff, and then we kind of were like, no, we're going to go in depth about random pro fight stuff that Mickey's doing, and we'll just be like, some people happen to get medals. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I think it works.
They got medals. They're duels. Like, what am I gonna say? He hit him more than the other guy hit him.
I mean, yeah, it's basically it.
Nah, we did really good.
Yeah.
All in all, this was pretty awesome. I wish it had not overlapped with IMCF the way it did. I will say, for anyone who doesn't know, I actually don't think this was purposeful. I will say that I'm sure that people weren't upset that it overlapped, but
Yeah. I think
this
it was more they didn't spend a lot of effort to find a better place.
so this was an already planned tournament before IMCF happened. It just wasn't BLWC.
Right.
The owner, or like the person who runs BLWC, lives here,
Yeah.
and this was the place that he could afford to actually make it happen.
Yeah.
And this is like a pre-existing Ren fair, so like it was
Yeah.
really annoying and shitty. But all of the
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 bit that makes me think he could have tried harder, like originally Larry had told me some stuff where I was like, oh, maybe it's reasonable, and then he was like, if you're a marshal certified and you marshal at IMCF, we're gonna pull your cert, and it was like, oh, now I'm back to feeling like maybe
so
you.
so I have no idea about that, but I do know that that's been H&B's policy for
Sure,
like
but
5
this
years.
is an HMB.
So
It was a
yeah,
new. It's
correct,
a new
correct.
league. If it had
Um,
been HMB, I wouldn't. I'd have been like, but he made this. He made a new company, and then
I think it's a I think it's a dumb as fuck rule anyway.
also,
So like I'm not
yeah.
gonna argue much about it because it's the stupidest shit ever. But
Hopefully, Buhurt International gets rid of it,
yep,
which I think
he,
they will, based on the talks that are happening. So
yes, I can't imagine they wouldn't. And he's gone. This was his last thing, and then he
yeah,
was like, this was his swan song,
yeah,
and then he pieced out. So
yeah.
um, heck yeah.
Good on him
So
for keeping Buhurt League alive and like allowing something to rise from the ashes. Because the IMCF certainly wasn't going to do it.
yeah,
Though they might now. Like now, it seems like we kind of have our shit together. So
we're gonna see what happens. I have high hopes. I might get let down, but I have high hopes that we're gonna have some big movements towards maybe a better international community
yeah,
with this stuff happening. We'll see. Like I
yeah,
said, I'm not getting my hopes too high. There's a
yeah,
lot of people who like some drama in this sport,
yeah,
but
yeah. I mean,
it'll
I'm
be
one
really
of
good.
them.
Hopefully next year. Yeah, yeah.
I love the drama. It's terrible, but I do love it because I am a gossip girl. Um,
But
yeah,
hopefully next year we'll send a whole Team USA to a world tournament that's got everyone,
yeah,
or at least everyone not actively attacking other people.
yeah. Hey, maybe they'll stop by then. You can always hope the war will
Yeah,
end. That
we will.
would be pretty dope.
The idea. So, but all right, man.
All right,
It's good
cool.
talking with you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, that's it.
Bye,
We
guys.
done.
Peace.